Sorry for the delay, I still intend to upload weekly. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about profiling. First off, we're going to begin by talking about profiling in a general sense, and then we're going to be moving towards more specific cases, and then in the end, racial profiling. Profiling in the general sense is just discerning something about someone based off how they look, act, or appear. I'm not really going to make a value judgment about whether this is good or bad, because it's an innate human reaction. It's expedient as well. I mean, it saves time. If I see some dude sitting alone wearing a Minecraft shirt, I can probably guess that he's into gaming, and he's a loner like me, and so that might encourage me to go over and talk to him. While if someone is wearing a lot of sports paraphernalia, I know that we probably wouldn't have a lot in common, so I wouldn't waste resources getting to know them. This said, ideally, profiling would only be used when speed is a necessity. Profiling puts people into groups, and as such, it's the outliers or the atypical people that suffer the most. A good example of this is when my sister was touring a college, and she told them she wanted to go into computer engineering. The professor she was talking with spent a lot of time convincing her why she wanted to go into computer science instead. The crux of his argument was that computer engineering is a very math-heavy field, and so he assumed that my sister would be more interested in something like computer science, which has slightly more design aspects in it. He was not trying to be sexist, he was just trying to be helpful to allow her to be more successful at the university. Once she told him her qualifications and experience, he had no problem encouraging her to go in computer engineering, and even regaled her about the program. This is a good example of when someone should not have done profiling. He had a lot of time one-on-one with this person, and he had plenty of time to get to know them and their interests and experience before he passed judgment. I'll give another example about how profiling hurts outliers in the groups. If you were running a moving company and you had 10 applicants and you only had 5 positions to fill, and 5 of them were men and 5 of them were women, and you specifically just needed the strongest individuals, some people might just profile and go ahead and just hire the 5 guys. This hurts the strong woman who would have been ready and capable enough to handle the job, and it also hurts the weak men who were too weak to do the job but were just hired based off their participation in the group of men. In order to frame the next part, I'm going to talk a little bit about genetic determinism. Genetic determinism is the belief that human behavior is controlled by an individual's genes or some component of their physiology. There has been quite a few studies done that seem to support this. For example, they have found a gene linked to alcoholism, and the presence of that gene makes you 200% more likely to be an alcoholic. It's thought that this gene makes you more prone to being addicted to certain substances or activities. That said, barely 5% of the people with this gene are alcoholics, which lends credence to the phrase, mind over matter. With that out of the way, I can begin to talk about racial profiling. Since I do not believe in genetic determinism, I believe that sociological and environmental factors help determine someone's action. As such, someone's skin color has very little to do with what decisions and actions they take. If I, a white person, was raised up in ISIS, I would have just as much chance of becoming a terrorist as an Arab who's raised up in ISIS. Since I believe it's nonsensical, I don't understand why people continue to do racial profiling. This doesn't mean I don't understand the realities of the world, where Asians have higher IQs and better test scores, white people commit more mass shootings, Arab cause more terrorism, and black people commit more crime. It just means I attribute these to sociological features, like greater pressure on students to perform in school, worse treatment of mental health issues, unstable and violent regimes leading to the normalization of violence, and growing up in single-parent homes without a father. What matters in these cases is not the color of your skin, but the culture you come from, and the culture you embrace. All in all, profiling is a useful tool that allows us to evaluate other people and determine what kind of actions or behavior we should take in regards to them. While it is efficient, it does disadvantage outliers who are outside the norms of their groups, and it should not be used for sustained or frequent interactions with the same people. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.